As billionaire businessman Mr. Ronald Carter turned the corner of the street, he was startled when a young girl called out to him. She claimed to be his granddaughter, the daughter of his youngest son. The girl showed Mr. Carter a pendant, and when he looked closely, he saw the photo of his late son inside. "My name is Angela, Mr. Carter." "I'm your granddaughter," said the girl with an angelic face. "What would you do if a stranger claimed to be your family, holding proof from your past?" This is Dark Voices, bringing you another life-changing, extraordinary story. One morning, a black car pulled up in front of a towering building in the middle of the city. An elderly man stepped out. It was Ronald Carter, the founder and owner of Carter Industries, a well-known company in America that specialized in high-quality construction materials used to build bridges, skyscrapers, and other major structures. Mr. Carter was a respected name in the business world, admired not only for his success, but for his generosity. From humble beginnings as a factory worker, he had worked his way up and educated himself in every aspect of the business. He didn't inherit wealth, nor did he receive outside help. Everything he achieved came from hard work, perseverance, and strict discipline. Mr. Carter wasn't only known for his wealth and empire, but also for his philanthropy. Despite his riches, he regularly donated to hospitals, schools, and various community development projects. He funded feeding programs for homeless children and gave away gifts to poor families every Christmas. His household staff were treated with dignity, received fair wages, and enjoyed proper benefits. But behind all the luxury, there was an emptiness in Mr. Carter's heart, an ache that no wealth or recognition could fill. His children had left long ago to pursue their dreams abroad, and he hadn't seen his grandchildren in years. In the quiet of his large home, Mr. Carter would often sigh and ask himself, "What's the point of all this wealth if I can't share it with my children and grandchildren?" In a crowded alleyway within a rundown neighborhood, Mr. Carter stood among a flurry of people. His staff were busy distributing bags of rice, clothes, and toys to the residents. He smiled as he watched the children happily receive their gifts. When the distribution ended, the local community leader approached him. "Mr. Carter," the man greeted warmly, "thank you so much. Your kindness has made such a difference to us." Mr. Carter gave a slight smile and responded, "Think nothing of it. Sometimes those of us who have more must reach out to those who have less. That's how we make the world a better place." "You truly have a good heart," said the leader. "That's why God keeps blessing you." Mr. Carter nodded with a polite smile. "I have to head out now. I've got many things to take care of. Just let my secretary know if your community needs anything." He began to walk away, still greeted with thanks by the residents, when he heard a girl's voice from behind. "Mr. Carter," the girl called out. He stopped in his tracks, turned around, and saw a thin young girl running toward him. He waited as she approached. "What is it, dear?" he asked with a furrowed brow. "Didn't you receive a gift?" The girl shook her head and took a deep breath. "No, Mr. Carter. I just wanted to show you something." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a heart-shaped pendant, then handed it to him. As Mr. Carter examined it, his heartbeat quickened. He could never forget that pendant. It once belonged to his late wife. "Please open it," the girl urged with a gentle smile. Mr. Carter slowly opened the pendant, and inside was a photograph of his youngest son, Richard, who had died in a tragic accident years ago. A wave of emotion surged through him. His chest tightened with the memories, and tears welled in his eyes. "Richard, my son," he whispered, staring at the photo. He looked back at the girl. "Where did you get this?" "I gave this pendant to my wife when we were newlyweds. Before she passed away, she gave it to Richard." The girl smiled softly. "My dad gave it to me. Richard, he was my father. I'm Angela, Mr. Carter. I'm your granddaughter." Mr. Carter was speechless. He stared at Angela, confused but drawn to her. Slowly, he knelt down to examine her face. There it was, the eyes, the lips, the smile. They were all Richard's. Suddenly, Angela threw her arms around him in a tight embrace. "I've been looking for you for so long, Grandpa," she said, her voice shaking. Though surprised, Mr. Carter gently placed his hand on the girl's back. "Come, Angela," he said softly. "Let's go. I want to know more about you." Angela went with him without hesitation. When they arrived at the mansion, Angela couldn't hide her excitement. Her eyes wandered in awe at the massive chandeliers, antique furniture, and elegant paintings on the walls. A few moments later, Mr. Carter opened the door to a large room on the second floor with an enormous bed. "Angela," said Mr. Carter, smiling, "you'll be staying here from now on. This will be your room." Angela beamed. "Thank you, Grandpa," she said as she looked around the spacious bedroom. "My dear," Mr. Carter continued gently, "I'd like to know how you're Richard's daughter. Can you tell me the story?" Angela nodded slowly and began to share. "According to Mom, she and Dad had a secret relationship. Dad was afraid to tell you about her because she was poor. He thought you wouldn't approve of the woman he loved," Angela said, her voice tinged with sadness. Mr. Carter swallowed hard. For him, it didn't matter whom his children loved, rich or poor. As long as the love was real, he would have accepted it. "Before Dad died in the accident, he gave the pendant to Mom," Angela continued, "so that even if we weren't together, we could always see his face. But maybe that was really his way of saying goodbye to us." Mr. Carter asked, "And where is your mom now?" "She passed away last year from tuberculosis. We didn't have money for treatment," Angela said as tears began to form in her eyes. Mr. Carter felt a storm of emotion inside him. Though overwhelmed, he still had doubts. It was all so sudden. So he gently asked Angela, "Angela, if it's okay with you, I'd like us to take a DNA test, just to be sure." Angela frowned slightly, confused. "What's a DNA test, Grandpa?" Mr. Carter smiled and explained, "A DNA test is a scientific way to find out if we're really related, if I'm really your grandfather, by testing our blood." After his explanation, Angela nodded with confidence. "I agree, Grandpa. I'd like to know if you're really my family, too." That night, Mr. Carter was filled with nervous excitement. He still couldn't fully believe what was happening, but there was a spark of hope in his heart. The next day, they went to a clinic run by a trusted doctor of Mr. Carter. Their DNA samples were taken, and the doctor informed them that the results would be ready in a week. The days passed quickly until one morning, Mr. Carter received a call from the doctor telling him the results were in. He and Angela rushed to the clinic. They sat side by side, silently waiting for the doctor. Mr. Carter held Angela's hand, and he could feel her slight trembling. The doctor entered the room holding an envelope, offering a slight smile before turning to them. "Mr. Carter, Angela," the doctor began, "the results of your DNA test are here." Mr. Carter's heart pounded. He could hardly breathe from the tension. The doctor pulled out a sheet of paper and smiled. "According to the DNA test results, you are biologically related. Mr. Carter, you are Angela's grandfather." Mr. Carter was momentarily stunned. Then he turned to Angela and smiled widely. "Angela, you really are my granddaughter," he said, his voice filled with joy. Angela smiled too, and quickly hugged him. "I told you, Grandpa, I really am your granddaughter," she said cheerfully. Mr. Carter gently stroked Angela's hair as tears filled his eyes. After all this time, he no longer felt alone. From the moment Mr. Carter confirmed that Angela was indeed his granddaughter, he turned her life around. He did everything to give her the experiences she never had while living in a rundown neighborhood. One day, Mr. Carter decided to take Angela to a popular mall for shopping. As they walked through the mall, Mr. Carter noticed the delight in Angela's eyes at every unfamiliar sight. "Grandpa, this place is amazing. I've only ever seen places like this on TV," Angela said as she held his hand. "Don't worry, sweetheart," Mr. Carter replied with a smile, "everything you see here, any of it can be yours. I want you to experience the things you've never had before." They entered a boutique filled with beautiful and expensive clothes. A saleslady welcomed them and helped Angela choose. Angela was amazed at each piece of clothing the lady handed her, trying them all on excitedly. When they left the store, they carried several shopping bags, all filled with clothes for Angela. "Wow, Grandpa, all these clothes are really mine?" Angela asked, still in disbelief. Of course, all of that is for you, and next time I have some free time, I'll take you shopping again, Mr. Carter said warmly. Since it was lunchtime, Mr. Carter brought Angela to a famous restaurant. He ordered dishes Angela had never tasted before. "Grandpa, the food is delicious," Angela said while chewing a steak. Mr. Carter smiled as he watched her. "Eat as much as you like, Angela. If you want more, don't be shy. Order whatever you want." "I don't think I can eat anymore, Grandpa." "We ordered so much already, it would be a shame to waste it," Angela replied. "We'll take the leftovers home and give them to the staff," Mr. Carter said with a smile. From then on, each passing day was filled with joy for Angela. Every morning, she woke to the aroma of delicious breakfast prepared by the mansion staff. She had a new bicycle to ride around the expansive garden or throughout the gated village. Meanwhile, Mr. Carter found happiness in seeing his granddaughter smile. In Angela, he saw the reflection of his late son, Richard, and knew that she was the precious gift Richard had left behind. One evening, Mr. Carter was busy in his office inside the mansion, focused on paperwork at his laptop. The room was quiet until a knock came at the door. "Who is it?" Mr. Carter asked. "It's me, Grandpa," Angela answered from outside. "Oh, Angela, come in," Mr. Carter said, inviting her in. Angela stepped inside and stood beside him. Mr. Carter noticed she seemed uneasy, as if she had something to say, but was too shy. "What is it, Angela? Do you need something?" Mr. Carter asked. "I wanted to say something, but I feel embarrassed," Angela said, looking down. "What is it? Don't be shy with me." "Of all the people in this house, you shouldn't be shy with your grandpa," Mr. Carter assured her. "Grandpa, my birthday is coming up soon," Angela said softly. "Really, sweetheart? When is your birthday?" Mr. Carter asked. "On Saturday," Angela replied, her cheeks blushing slightly. Mr. Carter smiled and nodded, already thinking of a plan for her special day. "There's no way I'm letting your birthday pass without a grand celebration. I'm sure you've never had a big birthday party before, right?" Mr. Carter asked. "Not yet," Angela said. "But did I hear that right? I'll have a party?" "Of course, Angela. I have a surprise for you this Saturday. I want your birthday to be memorable," Mr. Carter said as he stroked her hair. Angela couldn't contain her excitement and hugged Mr. Carter tightly. "Thank you, Grandpa. I'm so happy. I can't wait for my birthday," she exclaimed, nearly jumping with joy. Mr. Carter smiled as he hugged her back. "You're welcome, sweetheart. I'll do everything for you. Do you need anything else?" "No more, Grandpa. Thank you again." "I'll go back to my room now and won't bother you anymore," Angela said with a smile as she turned to leave. The next morning, Mr. Carter took Angela to the cemetery. The surroundings were quiet as they walked between the gravestones. They entered a large mausoleum. Mr. Carter took a deep breath, fighting off the pain that always returned when he came to this place. "Angela, this is your father, Richard's grave," Mr. Carter said. He offered flowers and lit a candle at Richard's tomb. He gently touched the smooth headstone where his youngest son's name was engraved. Mr. Carter knelt before the grave and began to speak. "Richard, my son, I'm sorry I didn't know you had a daughter, but don't worry because now I'm with Angela. I promise I'll take care of her," Mr. Carter said, tearing up. He wiped his eyes as the tears threatened to fall. Angela also touched the gravestone. "Dad, I wish Mom were here with us so we could all be together and happy. But don't worry about me because Grandpa Carter is taking care of me." "I'm doing just fine," Angela said. Mr. Carter could no longer hold back his tears. But those tears weren't just for the loss of his son. They were also for the newfound joy of having his granddaughter. Days passed quickly, and Angela's birthday finally arrived. Decorations filled the wide garden in front of the mansion. Tables were laid out with a variety of delicious food. From the mansion's large front doors, Mr. Carter looked on at the preparations for Angela's party. He was happy because he knew she would love the surprise he had prepared. Angela approached him and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Grandpa. This is the first time I've ever had a birthday celebration like this," she said with a smile. Though there was a trace of sadness in her eyes, Mr. Carter noticed. "Angela, why do you look a bit sad?" he asked. "I'm happy, Grandpa. It's just there aren't any other guests." "I don't have any friends here in the neighborhood," Angela replied. Before Mr. Carter could respond, 3 white vans pulled up in front of the mansion. The van doors opened, and out came children, Angela's friends from the neighborhood where she used to live. Angela froze in shock, barely able to believe what she was seeing. "That's your surprise, Angela," Mr. Carter said. "I invited your friends from your old place. I know how much you value them, and I knew you'd want them here on your special day." Angela looked at the children and their smiling faces. Mr. Carter noticed her expression shift slightly into a frown. "Angela, aren't you happy to see your old playmates and friends?" he asked. Angela smiled and scratched her head. "I'm happy, Grandpa. I'm just surprised. I didn't think you'd do something like this for me," she said, smiling. A short while later, the celebration began. 2 clowns performed, followed by games and laughter. The children started eating, enjoying themselves. But during the joyful occasion, Mr. Carter noticed something troubling. Angela had approached some of the kids from the neighborhood. When a girl excitedly touched Angela's pretty dress, Angela pulled her hand away. "Don't touch my dress. You might get it dirty," she snapped. The girl looked embarrassed and simply bowed her head. Later, another child happily offered Angela a piece of candy, but Angela slapped the child's hand away. "I don't need that. I have way better food here," she said arrogantly. As Mr. Carter watched the scenes unfold, he began to feel anxious. He could see that Angela was enjoying the luxury of her new life, but he didn't expect her to act this way toward the children she had once lived among. He walked over to her and spoke gently. "Angela, my dear, I've noticed you're being a bit hurtful with your words. Remember, they are your friends," he reminded her. "We were just joking, Grandpa," Angela replied. "Besides, you shouldn't have invited them. I think I would have been happier if it were just us. They're only here because they want to eat good food." Mr. Carter was stunned. He hadn't expected such thoughts from his granddaughter after everything he had given her. "Angela, have you forgotten you came from the same place they did? You're in a better position now, yes, but please don't forget where you came from," Mr. Carter said calmly. Angela shrugged and frowned before quickly walking away to play with other kids. Mr. Carter watched her in silence, and in his heart, a new concern began to grow. If he continued to give Angela everything she wanted, she might completely lose the humility he hoped she would keep. That evening, after Angela's grand birthday celebration, Mr. Carter knocked on her bedroom door. When Angela opened it, Mr. Carter walked in and handed her a beautifully wrapped box. "Angela, this is another gift for you on your birthday," Mr. Carter said with a smile. Angela quickly opened the gift. When she saw that it was a new cell phone, her eyes lit up, and she almost jumped for joy. "Wow, Grandpa, thank you. I've wanted a cell phone for so long," Angela exclaimed, hugging Mr. Carter tightly. Mr. Carter smiled at his granddaughter's excitement. But when Angela let go of him, he noticed several unopened presents piled in a corner of the room. "Angela, what are those gifts doing there? Why haven't you opened them yet?" Mr. Carter asked. "I don't feel like opening those, Grandpa. They're from the kids from the neighborhood." "I'm sure they're all junk anyway," Angela said with a scowl. Mr. Carter gently stroked her head and spoke softly. "Sweetheart, it doesn't matter what's inside those gifts, whether they're simple or inexpensive. You should learn to be thankful and appreciative." But instead of listening, Angela lay down on the bed and yawned. "Grandpa, I'm sleepy. Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm going to bed now." "Thanks again for the cell phone," Angela said. Mr. Carter noticed she was clearly trying to avoid the topic. He sighed and smiled faintly, though his eyes reflected sadness. He caressed her cheek and quietly left the room. As he closed the door behind him, he let out a deep sigh. The next morning, Mr. Carter went out to the back of the mansion and noticed one of the house staff carrying a large black garbage bag toward the trash bin. "Miss Teresa, what are you throwing away?" Mr. Carter asked. "These are from Angela's room, Mr. Carter," the maid replied. Mr. Carter walked closer and opened the garbage bag. He was shocked to see that it was filled with the unopened presents from Angela's friends. None of them had been opened. "Wait, why are these gifts here?" Mr. Carter asked, his voice tinged with confusion and sadness. The maid took a deep breath and bowed slightly. "Mr. Carter, Angela told us to throw them out. She said she had no intention of opening them since she believed they didn't contain anything important." Mr. Carter stared at the gifts. Each was wrapped simply, but it was clear that the children had put thought into them. His chest tightened with disappointment as the lessons he had been trying to teach Angela resurfaced in his mind. "All right, Miss Teresa, I'll take care of these. Don't throw them out." "It would be a waste," Mr. Carter said. He picked up several of the unopened presents and took them to his office. As he looked at them, he began to wonder if he had gone too far in spoiling Angela with luxury, so much that she could no longer appreciate even the smallest gesture. From that moment on, after seeing Angela's troubling behavior, Mr. Carter started thinking of ways to correct it. He eventually decided to bring her along to one of his charity missions. Early that morning, Mr. Carter got dressed and knocked on Angela's door. Angela opened it shortly after. "Grandpa, you're dressed up. Where are you going?" she asked. "I'm not going alone. You're coming with me, Angela." "So, get ready," Mr. Carter replied. Angela's face lit up with excitement, and she quickly got out of bed. "Okay, Grandpa. Are we going to the mall? Are we going shopping again?" she asked eagerly. "You'll find out later," Mr. Carter said. Angela quickly got ready, and in a short while, they were inside a moving car. Their journey took almost 2 hours before they stopped in front of an orphanage. As they got out of the car, Mr. Carter noticed Angela frown. "Grandpa, why are we here?" "I thought we were going to the mall," Angela said. Mr. Carter put his arm around her shoulder and gently spoke. "This is where we're going today, Angela. The children here are just like you. They don't have parents, but you're lucky you have a grandfather who acts as your parent. Come on, let's go inside. The kids are waiting for us," he said with a smile. Angela stayed quiet as they entered. The children and cheerful staff welcomed them warmly. Angela helped hand out toys and small gifts to the kids, but her body language showed that she wasn't really interested in what she was doing. Throughout the gift-giving, Mr. Carter occasionally glanced at her, hoping to see at least a small smile or hint of compassion on her face, but Angela remained frowning. Mr. Carter simply shook his head in silence. On their way home, Mr. Carter couldn't help but ask Angela a question. "So, how was your experience giving toys to the kids, Angela?" Angela shrugged. "It was okay, I guess. Kind of boring. I hope you don't bring me to places like that again. There are way more fun places like the mall or amusement parks. Angela, I took you there because I wanted you to realize how fortunate you are compared to them. But it seems like you didn't see that," Mr. Carter said sadly. Angela didn't respond. She clearly avoided what he said and focused instead on the road as they quietly drove home. Mr. Carter could feel the heavy burden in his chest. He tried to push away his disappointment, but he couldn't help but wonder how he could teach Angela to truly care about others. The next morning, as Mr. Carter was heading down the stairs, he heard Angela shouting from the dining area. He paused to listen, wondering why she sounded so angry. "Why is there no bacon? Didn't I tell you there should always be bacon for breakfast?" Angela shouted. "I'm so sorry, Angela. We ran out, and I forgot to get some at the grocery store," the housemaid replied calmly. "You people can't even do simple jobs properly. How am I supposed to eat without my favorite food? You're all useless. Grandpa Carter is wasting his money paying you," Angela snapped, full of anger and insult. Mr. Carter couldn't take it anymore. He rushed down the stairs and headed straight to the dining area. He found Angela sitting down with an angry expression while the maid stood quietly with her head lowered. "Angela, why are you yelling at her?" Mr. Carter asked loudly. Angela was startled. "It's because they didn't cook bacon, Grandpa. They know it's my favorite. Breakfast isn't breakfast without bacon." "So, you think it's okay to shout and insult our staff over bacon? You think I didn't hear what you said earlier?" Mr. Carter said, visibly disappointed. Angela didn't say a word and just looked down. Mr. Carter walked over to her. "Do you know that Miss Teresa has been here for many years? Not once have I shouted at her, cursed, or insulted her, even when she made mistakes. You need to learn to be patient and respectful, especially to people older than you," Mr. Carter told her. Angela remained silent, scowling. "I don't like your attitude, Angela. You need to change it," Mr. Carter added. Angela still didn't respond, but her furrowed brows showed she was upset about being reprimanded. That night, the mansion was quiet. Mr. Carter sat at the edge of his bed, filled with worry. He couldn't stop thinking about his granddaughter's troubling behavior. He looked up at the wall in front of him, where a large photo of his late son, Richard, hung. Richard was smiling in the picture, his eyes full of life. Mr. Carter walked over, gently touched the frame, and sighed. "Richard," he whispered, "what should I do about your daughter? I love her so much, but something's wrong. She doesn't know how to be grateful or humble. I thought, because she didn't grow up with much, she'd be kind to those who are struggling, but it's turning out differently. I hope there's still a way to teach her how to be a good person." His decision was firm. Starting tomorrow, Mr. Carter would begin teaching Angela how to live simply so she could learn the real meaning of humility and respect. Mr. Carter woke up early that day. When he went down to the dining area, he found Angela already seated, seemingly waiting to have breakfast with him. Mr. Carter sat down, and a maid promptly served his meal. "Good morning, Grandpa," Angela greeted cheerfully. "Good morning, Angela," Mr. Carter replied. Moments later, Mr. Carter looked at Angela and, with a serious tone, said, "Angela, pack your things after breakfast. We're going somewhere." Angela was surprised. "Where are we going, Grandpa?" she asked curiously. "You'll find out when we get there," Mr. Carter answered sternly. After eating, Angela immediately went to her room, while Mr. Carter stayed behind and spoke to the maid. "Miss Teresa, please take care of the house while we're gone. Angela and I will be away for a few months," he said. "Where are you going, Mr. Carter?" the maid asked. "I can't say yet, but when everything's in order, we'll be back," Mr. Carter responded. A short while later, Angela came down to the living room while Mr. Carter went up to his room, picked up a medium-sized suitcase, and came back down. They left the mansion and boarded a luxury car. During the ride, Mr. Carter remained quiet. He knew Angela was wondering where they were headed, but he didn't want to say anything yet. Eventually, the car stopped at a bus terminal. They both got out. "Grandpa, why are we here? Why are we taking the bus? We have so many cars," Angela asked, puzzled. Mr. Carter didn't answer. He simply patted Angela on the shoulder and pointed to a bus parked nearby. "We are riding that one, Angela," he said. Angela had no choice but to follow him. Once aboard, the bus began its long journey. After several hours, they arrived at their destination. Then they transferred to a tricycle that took them to a remote area surrounded by wide rice fields. They walked further under the heat of the sun. "Grandpa, it's so hot here. Why is it so far? Where exactly are we going?" Angela complained. Mr. Carter remained silent and kept walking. Soon they reached a small hut at the edge of the field. There was no fence, no sign of the luxury Angela was used to back at the mansion. When they arrived, Angela looked around and took a deep breath. "Grandpa, is this the place you wanted to show me? Are you passing this land down to me?" she asked. "Angela, we didn't come here so I could pass anything down to you," Mr. Carter said. "Then why are we here? We're not staying here, right? This is just a vacation or something, right?" Angela asked, full of confusion. Mr. Carter looked at her seriously. "Angela, starting today, this is where we'll live," he declared. Angela's eyes widened, disbelief written all over her face. "Grandpa, that's impossible. Why would we live here? Your mansion is huge." "Why would we leave it?" she asked in frustration. "The mansion, the business, everything I had, it's all gone, Angela. This hut and this little piece of land are all I have now," Mr. Carter said, lowering his voice. "What do you mean?" Angela asked, stunned. "My business went under a while ago. I did everything I could to recover, but I couldn't save it. I sold the mansion and the rest of our properties. I can't give you anything anymore except the simple life we have now," Mr. Carter explained. Angela stood in silence, glancing around and wincing as she saw how small their new home was. Mr. Carter knew she couldn't believe that the lavish life she had briefly known could disappear just like that. "So, Grandpa, you're saying we're really broke now? This is really where we're going to live?" Angela asked again, still unable to accept it. Mr. Carter nodded. "Yes, Angela. I know it's hard to accept, especially since you just got a taste of the good life, but this is our reality now, and we have to adjust. We have to learn to live simply." Angela swallowed hard. She clearly couldn't take it all in. Mr. Carter gently patted her on the shoulder. "We'll be okay, sweetheart. What's important is that we're still together. And here in this place, you'll learn about things that matter more than any luxury," Mr. Carter said, trying to encourage her. Their first day living a simple life in the countryside began, and Angela immediately started complaining. For breakfast, Mr. Carter served plain rice and dried fish with a little tomato. He noticed the disappointed look on Angela's face as she stared at the food. Mr. Carter began eating with his hands, unfazed by the meal. He came from humble beginnings, and meals like this were normal for him as a child. "Why aren't you eating, Angela?" Mr. Carter asked. "Isn't there anything else, Grandpa?" Angela replied. Mr. Carter sighed. "This is all we can eat for now. Our life here is nothing like our life back at the mansion. You need to get used to eating this kind of food again. I'm sure before you came to the mansion, you were already eating dried fish and tomatoes. I'm just not used to it anymore, Grandpa. And don't we even have a fan? It's so hot in here," Angela complained. "We don't have a fan, Angela. We have to make do with what we have. Don't look for what's not here. Now eat," Mr. Carter said calmly. Angela grew even more frustrated, but she had no choice but to follow him. She ate, but without any appetite. "Grandpa, can we at least buy a mattress? That mat is so hard my back hurts," Angela requested. "We don't have money for a mattress. The money I have here, we have to stretch it out. It's only for our food," Mr. Carter replied. Mr. Carter glanced at Angela and tried to encourage her. Deep down, he felt sorry for her, especially since she had gotten used to comfort, but he knew he had to keep up the act that they were poor, so Angela would understand the value of humility. "Why did this have to happen, Grandpa? I thought my life was going to be easier now that I found you. I only got to experience that briefly. Then I had to go back to being poor," Angela said. "Everything in life happens for a reason. Maybe through this, you'll learn to appreciate the simple things. It's not easy, but we have to endure it," Mr. Carter said. Angela sighed. It was clear she still hadn't come to terms with their situation. "But Grandpa, can't we go back to our old home? Can't we get it all back?" she asked sadly. Mr. Carter smiled faintly. "Sometimes, what we lose can never be recovered. But often, when we lose those things, we learn how to be better people. I'm here to help you, and I hope you can help yourself, too," he said. Angela stayed quiet, and Mr. Carter silently wished she would begin to understand. He believed these challenges would bring positive change in his granddaughter. One morning, while Mr. Carter was resting in front of their hut, an old woman arrived. She was wearing plain clothes and carrying a basket of vegetables. She looked stern, like the villains in soap operas.
Good morning, Mr. Carter, greeted the old woman. Ah, good morning to you too, Dana.
You came right on time, Mr. Carter replied, then called out to his granddaughter who was inside the hut. Angela, come out here for a moment, he called.
Angela stepped outside and approached Mr. Carter, her face showing curiosity. Angela, this is Miss Dana.
She owns a potato farm over that hill, Mr. Carter introduced.
Starting today, you'll be working there. Angela's eyes widened in disbelief. What? Why do I have to work, Grandpa? I'm still a kid.
I don't want to, she said firmly.
Angela, we don't have money anymore, and we're no longer in the mansion. We need to work to survive.
If I were still strong, I'd work myself, but I'm too old for farm labor, Mr. Carter explained.
But Grandpa, I've never worked before, and on a potato farm? It's so hot, Angela continued to complain. If you don't work, Angela, we'll go hungry. There's no other way for us to get food here. You have to understand.
This is our new life now, Mr. Carter calmly insisted. Looks like your granddaughter doesn't want to work on my potato farm, Mr. Carter.
I can't stand workers with too many complaints.
I'll just look for someone else to hire, Dana snapped.
No, Dana.
Let me talk to her again, Mr. Carter said, then turned back to Angela.
Angela, sweetheart, please agree.
I already spoke to Miss Dana yesterday and told her you would be working for her.
She's the only one willing to hire you. My money won't last long enough for us to buy food.
You need to do this so we don't starve, he urged.
Angela looked at Mr. Carter and finally nodded.
Fine, I'll do it, she said reluctantly.
Well, if you're going to agree, why all the fuss? Dana muttered. Come with me now to the farm so I can show you what you'll be doing. Angela followed Dana, though her face clearly showed disappointment.
As Angela walked away with Dana toward the potato fields, Mr. Carter stood quietly watching them from a distance. He prayed silently that one day Angela would see the true value of life and that a kind heart was worth more than any amount of wealth. Once the two were far enough away, Mr. Carter decided to follow them to the potato field. He walked the hot, dusty path, reminiscing about how he used to live a simple life away from the noisy, fast-paced city. When Mr. Carter reached the potato farm, he hid behind a tree and watched his granddaughter closely. Dana handed Angela a sturdy sack and showed her how to dig up potatoes using a small hand hoe. This is what you'll use to dig up the soil. Once you uncover the potatoes, gently put them in the sack so they don't get damaged, Dana instructed, raising an eyebrow. Mr. Carter saw hesitation in Angela's face, but she didn't complain. She began digging into the soil. He could clearly see the strain on Angela's face, especially as her sack started to fill. As she continued to dig, it was obvious she was exhausted. She frequently stopped to rest and wiped sweat from her forehead. Even though Mr. Carter wanted to step in and tell her to stop, he held himself back. He knew Angela had to go through this hardship to truly learn to value everything she once took for granted. When Angela's sack was full, she stood up and carried it to the pile with the other sacks. Mr. Carter's heart nearly broke when he saw Angela on the verge of tears while lifting the heavy bag. He silently watched his granddaughter struggle, seeing the exhaustion on her face and the way her shoulders trembled as she tried not to cry. "Forgive me, sweetheart. I'm doing this for you," Mr. Carter whispered to himself. After a while, Mr. Carter left and returned to their small hut. That afternoon, he left again and went to Dana's house. He found the old woman sorting vegetables outside her home. He stopped in front of her and pulled some folded bills from his pocket. "Oh, Mr. Carter, I didn't expect to see you," Dana said, startled. "Dana, here's the payment for doing what I asked," Mr. Carter said as he handed her the money. Dana accepted the payment but looked uneasy and a bit guilty. "Thank you, Mr. Carter. But honestly, I'm starting to feel bad about what I'm doing to Angela. I saw her struggling earlier, especially when she had to carry that sack of potatoes. I feel sorry for her, especially with the way I've been acting toward her," Dana admitted. Mr. Carter gave a faint smile, though his eyes revealed the emotional weight he carried. "I know it's not easy for you, Dana. I know you're a naturally kind person,
but please keep doing this. Angela needs to learn a lesson she never picked up while living in the mansion, Mr. Carter said.
I want her to feel hardship again and learn the value of things, especially the importance of respecting people she might see as beneath her.
But why are you doing this, Mr. Carter? I know you love your granddaughter deeply. Isn't it painful to watch her suffer? Dana asked. It hurts more than anything.
But what hurts even more is seeing her grow up ungrateful and unaware of the value of simple things.
I don't want her to grow up heartless.
So, even though it pains me, I know she needs to go through all of this, Mr. Carter explained at length.
Dana nodded, finally understanding his intent. All right, Mr. Carter. I'll keep the plan going, even if it's hard on me. I just hope Angela learns the lesson you want her to understand, Dana said. Thank you so much, Dana. Don't worry.
I know that one day Angela will understand everything, Mr. Carter said, smiling.
He said goodbye to Dana and began walking back to their hut.
As he walked, he prayed quietly for his granddaughter.
That evening, Mr. Carter and Angela shared dinner together.
Even though they only had boiled okra and sweet potato leaves with shrimp paste, Mr. Carter noticed Angela eating heartily.
Whoa there. Slow down a bit, Angela. You might choke,
Mr. Carter reminded her.
I'm just so hungry, Grandpa.
I didn't eat earlier because there was so much work to do at the potato field, Angela replied.
So, how was your first day at the field? Mr. Carter asked. Angela sighed deeply, clearly hesitant before answering. I don't think I can handle it, Grandpa. The work is really hard.
The sack is heavy, and the sun is blazing, she said with a frown. You know, Angela, every job is hard at first.
I've been through the same thing.
When I was your age, I had to take all kinds of jobs just to get by, Mr. Carter shared.
Really, Grandpa? What kind of jobs did you have? Angela asked. We were poor back then, Mr. Carter began.
When I was young, I sold newspapers on the street. I woke up very early to get ahead of the other kids and sell more. Later, I worked as a parking boy at the market. As I got older, I became a porter, carrying sacks of rice and vegetables. I also sold rags on jeepneys. And at one point, I even washed dishes at a small eatery, he explained in a long story.
Wow, Grandpa, that all sounds so hard, Angela remarked in amazement. Yes, it was.
But with every struggle, I learned to value even the smallest things. It felt so rewarding to be able to buy a single kilo of rice after a day's work, knowing I truly earned it, Mr. Carter said with a smile. But Grandpa, even when I lived in the slums, I never had to work this hard. I never imagined myself doing something like this, Angela said sadly. Mr. Carter gently touched Angela's hand.
That's why now is your time to learn the things you didn't get to experience back then.
It's tough, but eventually, you'll see the value in all of it. Angela sighed, and Mr. Carter saw a glimmer of understanding in her eyes. The next day, before the sun fully rose, Mr. Carter was surprised to find Angela already getting ready to head to the potato field. He thought he'd have to persuade her again to go back to work.
Mr. Carter smiled and felt a quiet joy.
Despite the hardship and her earlier complaints, Angela was now voluntarily returning to the fields. In his heart, he prayed that in the days to come, Angela would continue to change and learn the lessons he hoped to instill.
By the afternoon, Angela returned to the hut, smiling.
As soon as she saw Mr. Carter, she proudly showed him the money she had earned. Grandpa, I just got paid at the potato farm, she said excitedly, handing over the money. Mr. Carter smiled and gently patted her shoulder.
That's wonderful, Angela. Doesn't it feel good to be paid for something you worked hard for? He said.
You're right, Grandpa, but I was thinking maybe we could go to the market today and buy something special for dinner.
How about pork adobo? She suggested. Sure, Angela. Let's go to the market, Mr. Carter agreed. Angela nodded eagerly.
Mr. Carter felt happy and full of hope, seeing how his granddaughter was changing. At the market, they bought rice and a kilo of pork. On their way back, they passed by a homeless man sitting by the roadside, thin and shivering, clearly starving.
Angela stopped in her tracks. She walked over to a vendor and bought 2 pieces of caramelized bananas and a cold drink. After paying, she approached the homeless man and gave him the food and drink. Mr. Carter was stunned by Angela's actions. When they were a bit farther away, he asked her, "Angela, why did you give food to that homeless man? Didn't you just earn a small amount?" "I know what it feels like to be hungry, Grandpa. I remember what it was like when we didn't have food back in the slums. So, even if it's just a little, I want to help," Angela replied with a smile. Mr. Carter was deeply moved by what he heard. He felt that Angela was beginning to change, becoming kinder, more thoughtful, and more compassionate toward others. And all of that had happened in such a short time. When they got back to the hut, Angela began preparing the ingredients for adobo. Mr. Carter quietly watched her as she cooked, a proud look in his eyes. Soon, the delicious aroma of soy sauce, vinegar, and simmering pork filled the air. After the meal was ready, they joyfully sat down for their simple dinner. While they were eating, Mr. Carter noticed a new light in Angela's eyes. She was no longer the same girl who once cared for nothing. This was the Angela who had learned to work hard, endure, and love the little things in life. That night, Mr. Carter silently gave thanks for the changes in his granddaughter and for the new beginning they would face together. In the days that followed, Mr. Carter would secretly follow Angela to the potato fields. He saw that she never complained while working. Even though she was sweating and clearly tired, she just kept going. There were even moments when he saw Angela laughing and joking with the other workers in the field. That's when Mr. Carter realized that Angela had learned to get along with people from all walks of life. A few days later, Mr. Carter ran into Miss Dana on the road. "Mr. Carter," Miss Dana called as she approached. "Oh, Dana, good morning." "How are you?" greeted Mr. Carter. "I'm doing well. I have something to tell you. Did you know your granddaughter Angela is completely different now? At first, I didn't think she'd last at the potato farm, but now she doesn't even complain." "I told myself, I admire that kid," Miss Dana said happily. Mr. Carter smiled, joy glimmering in his eyes. "Thank you, Dana. You've helped her a lot. She's learned many lessons working at the potato field." "Even I can see how much she's changed," Mr. Carter said proudly. "Mr. Carter, I know it's not easy to watch someone you love go through hardship, but I think you've succeeded in teaching Angela the lesson you wanted her to learn. I can see that she now values hard work, even if it's difficult, because she knows she has to do it for the two of you," Miss Dana said. "You're right, Dana. Maybe it's time to stop the act. I think Angela's learned enough, but I'll be the one to tell her." "Thank you for everything, Dana," Mr. Carter said. That night, Mr. Carter was awakened by the ringing of his phone. He slowly got up from bed and picked up the phone. He saw Angela still fast asleep beside him. He stepped out of the hut and answered the call. To his surprise, it was his secretary calling. "Hello, Mr. Carter. I'm sorry for calling this late." "It's just now that I had time," his secretary said. "Oh, no problem. What is it?" Mr. Carter asked. "There are some investors who've been asking about you. They really want you to be the one to attend the meetings," the secretary replied. "Tell them I'll be back soon. For now, I'm trusting you to take care of everything at the company." "I know you can handle it," Mr. Carter said. After the call, Mr. Carter looked back at the hut and froze. Angela was peeking from the window. Mr. Carter's heart went cold, realizing she had overheard the conversation. He quickly went back inside the hut and saw Angela standing there, tears welling in her eyes. "Grandpa, is it true what I heard? You're handing over the company to someone else, so the company isn't really gone?" Angela asked, her voice full of hurt and confusion. Mr. Carter sighed deeply. He knew the moment had come to tell Angela the truth. "Angela, I hope you won't be angry with what I'm about to say. It's true. The company, the house, everything, none of it is really gone. This life of hardship we've been living, it's all just an act," Mr. Carter confessed. Angela's eyes widened, and her tears began to fall. "You made me work.
You made me suffer in the fields because I thought we were poor. I thought I had to struggle just so we could survive. And now you're telling me we were never poor," she cried out.
Mr. Carter moved closer, but Angela pulled away. "I just wanted you to learn the value of respecting people from all walks of life.
Sweetheart, I saw that as soon as you got a taste of luxury, you started to think you were better than everyone else. You ignored your old friends from the slums, and you yelled at our helpers.